Hi, Moshe Taragin from the base Medrash of Yeshivat Har Etziyon from the Rosh. I was in Camp Monk from 1976 to 1982, and it's my pleasure to share some Torah with you. Erev Rosh Hashana, Tafshin Pei Vav. Hanistaros Lashem Elokeinu, V'aniglos Lanu Ulvanenu Ad Olam. As we entered Eretz Yisrael, our responsibilities transitioned from individual responsibilities to collective responsibilities. Haniglos Lanu Ulvanenu. Kol Yisrael Arevim Zelazah, we became Arevim, not just in the performance of legal mitzvahs, that my mitzvah is incomplete unless you've also been Mekayim your mitzvah, but we're bridged together, we're fused together by a bridge of collective duty and collective responsibility. I want to thank everyone on this list for davening for my son and all the other wounded soldiers who sorely needed your tefillos, and all the people in Am Yisrael who needed your tefillos. My son was zocha to tremendous nisim, and I'm sure the schos of all your tefillos were helpful. So I just want to say, Erev Rosh Hashana, Tafshin Pei Vav, I want to say thank you to you on behalf of me and my family. One of the manifestations of a chazaka, the chazaka we paskin is 3, Machlokas Tanaim, one of the manifestations of a 3-time chazaka is Cheskas Gimel Shanim, where a person squats on an empty land for 3 years and no one protests, he's now seen as the owner. But the Gemara says in Baba Basra, V'hu Shachal and Ritzufas. The 3 years can't be intermittent. They have to be continuous. It's one thing to be there 3 years. It's another to be there day in, day out. Chaskel, the last 3 years, week in, week out, you've spread Torah across the airwaves, across the oceans, and you've established a chazaka, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shebim b'chazek es yodecha, with koach and with emunah, not just to spread Torah, but to be there on behalf of Am Yisrael during Eis, Sarah, Li'akov, Umimanu, Yivashea. Most mitzvahs don't require kavana. According to most Rishonim, we paskin mitzvahs ain't tzrichas kavana. Some mitzvahs are different, and they require kavana. Shofar may be one of those mitzvahs that requires kavana. Shulchan Aruch paskins, the shofar requires kavana, because without kavana, without associating the kol shofar with imagery, with ideas, it's just a hollow, empty sound, and the mitzvah is deficient. And shofar is meant to evoke many themes, many ideas. But there are 3 dominant ones, the 3 dominant themes of Rosh Hashana. And the first of those 3 themes is timeless, it's static, it doesn't change from Rosh Hashana to Rosh Hashana. But the other 2 themes are very historically contextual, and those themes do change with the flow and the transitions of history. The first theme of the Kol HaShofar is to remind us that it's Yom Hadin. Uvashofar gadol yitaka b'kol demama daka yishama hinei Yom Hadin lifkod al tzvamarim badin. Hayom yamid b'mishpat kol yitzoei olamim. V'chol b'nei adam yavon lefunecha kivnei maram. According to one shot in the Gemara in Rosh Hashana, kimalos b'nei maram. There was a city, probably on a hill, and to access that city, you have to walk along a narrow road, and you can only walk single file. And we appear before HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Rosh Hashana, one by one, each one of us receiving our mishpat, mi yechia, mi amos, mi shafel, or mi arum. And that's the first image, the first sound of the shofar, that it's Yom Hadin. But the fact that it's Yom Hadin doesn't really change with history. It's the same experience, mi yechia, mi amos, in Tafshin Pei Vav as it was in Taf Reish Pei Vav, as it was in Taf Kuf Pei Vav. But the next theme of Rosh Hashana is very different. The second theme of Rosh Hashana, the shofar is meant to evoke, is it's not just Yom Hadin, it's also Yom HaMalchus. The minhag in Chabad is to call the night of Rosh Hashana a separate name, Leil Hachtara, the night of coronation. This is the day of Malchus Hashem, not just Yom Hadin, and it's the day of Malchus because it is Yom Hadin, because this is the one day that every human being, Kol Bnei Adam, Kol Yitzirei Olamim, submit to Hashem's authority, ipso facto, because they're being judged, and by being judged, you're operating Tachas Malchus Hashem. And the shofar coronates the Kadosh Baruch Hu in the Yom HaMalchus, B'chatzotzos b'kol shofar, hariu, l'fnei, HaMelech Hashem, Sfiras, Melech Bo. But Malchus Hashem isn't a given. At a cosmic level, of course, the Kadosh Baruch Hu's presence is infinite and is independent on any human decision or behavior. Hashemayim u'shmei Hashemayim lo yichal kalucha. But on this earth, Hashem decreed, Kadosh Baruch Hu decreed that His presence, the presence of the Shechina, is a function of human decision, a bechira chavshis, and human beings can bring Hashem into this world, and human beings can push the Shechina out of this world, at least in an overt way. And when the Shechina is pushed away from this world, we call that a chilul Hashem. The last 2 years have been terrible years of Chilul Hashem. We have had Nisan, but the attack upon Am Yisrael in their homeland, Simcha li'artecha b'sasan li'recha, Jewish cities, on Simchas Torah and Shabbos, weaponizing our Yom Tovim and Shabbos, Kiddush Shabbos against us. Chilul Hashem, they fight us because they don't want Hashem in this world. Kum Hashem be'kvitzoi vecha, they're the oivim of Hashem, but they take out their wrath and their fury upon his people and his children. And our opponents, our enemies, Yimach Shemam B'zichram, they speak in the name of a false Hashem. They vandalize in the face as if Hashem is angry. God is angry and bloodthirsty and vengeful. Kel Melech Yoshev Al Kisei Rachamim Misnaig B'Chasidus Mochel Avonos Amo. Hashem is compassionate. Rish Baruch Hu is kind. So they attack us in our land. They falsify and vandalize the face of Hashem in this world. And in the broader society is also Chilul Hashem. David Melech tells us, Mi agor b'yolecha, mi yishkon b'har kadshecha. To be close to Hashem, you have to be dover emes b'levava. Hashem is emes, keter elokim emes, devarcha emes v'kayim la'ad. Human beings will never reach ultimate emes, but we're living through a kas shel shakranim, not just lies on an individual scale, but a culture of lying, a culture of falsification, a culture of contextualizing truth, a culture of abolishing objective and absolute truth. So this is a fallen world. This is a world in which there's a Chilul Hashem. And on the day of Malchus, we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, L'sakein olam b'malchus shakai, daven for the Shechina, hofa b'hadar geonu zechal kol yoshvei teva l'tzecha, v'chein tein pachtecha Hashem Elokeinu, v'yedal kopol ki ata v'yalto, v'yasu kula magudachas lasos v'tzono b'leiv of shalim, lasos v'tzono v'tzomcha. Then there's the third element of Rosh Hashana, which is also very time contingent or historically contingent. It's not just Yom Hadin, not just Yom HaMalchus, but Yom Bris Avos. Kadosh Baruch Hu zocher bris. When we think about Bris Avos, we tend to think backwards in time to the foundation of Bris Avos, to the Avos, to the Yeshenei Machpel, who lie in rest about 8 miles south of where we sit right now in Hebron. But we're living through Bris Avos. This generation is struggling to bear the weight of Bris Avos because Bris Avos comes with a weight. Ger Yezeracha Beretz Lelahem Bavadum Ve'inu Osam. So when you try to amplify and more deeply internalize Bris Avos this Rosh Hashanah, think about all the sacrifices that people are making for Bris Avos as we speak. When you hear the Kol HaShofar, the first Shavarim Teruah, and you think about Shivrei Leiv and B'Teyabev, Aim Sisera, the mother of Sisera, sobbing and heaving, think about all the brokenhearted in Am Yisrael who live with the Kol HaShofar on a day-to-day basis. They wake up with the Kol, they wake up Shivrei Leiv, and they go to sleep Shivrei Leiv. They are already severe liba and makike rucha. They don't need the Kol HaShofar. When you say, Min HaMeitzar Karasika, and Ani V'Merchavka, and you ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to take you out of a constrained, confined space, metaphorically, think of Yidden, who have been living the last 2 years, literally caged like animals, like Kol HaChaya Shayito B'Teva. When you ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ben HaNakad Yashbis Medainenu, and you reference Akedas Yitzchak, Kama Akedos Akadnu, how many Akedos, not virtual Akedos, not people who are ready to die for Hashem, but unfortunately people who were offered in the Mizbech over the past 2 years. Kama Akedos Akadnu. When you think about Avas Kulosayach, Zacharti Lach Avas Kulosayach, Chesed Nirayach, and Avas Kulosayach, Lechtech Achrai Bamidbar, think about all the young couples who have had their Avas Kulosayach forever broken or severely disrupted. We are a generation living, carrying the Bris Avos. And over Rosh Hashanah, let that recognition, let your hearts connect with theirs, so that Bris Avos is real, not just a historical fact or artifact. And of course, when we reach the part of Haben Yakir Li Ephraim and Yaled Shashuim, we ask the Rebbeinu Shalom to look at us as little children. Remember, we were once all little children, many, many moons ago in Camp Monk, sun-streaked summers of Torah and fun, kindness and purity, friendship and togetherness and unity. We've gone on, we've become fathers, we've become grandfathers, professionals, but we're still little children in Camp Monk. And we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to look at us as innocent children and to listen to the Kol HaNar, Basher Husham, and to answer our tefillos and return us to that innocence. Yehiratam b'fnei shomei kol b'chayos, shetasim demoseinu benotcha lihiyos, v'tatzilenu mikol gzeros achzarios, ki anu leka, v'einenu leka, v'yakiru korach malchusecha, v'yitnu lecha, kesem melucha. Everyone should be nichta v'nechtam, b'sifron shel tzadikim, shenatova tikasei v'sechasem, tichasei v'sechasemu la'alter l'chaim, tovim u'l'shalom.